Howdy guys, well here we have another video. This one's about my boost controller. As you might notice, or as you may recognize, this is a fuel pressure regulator. This is actually just one of those cheapy ones you get off eBay. I had some reasons I wanted to go with this route, and I'll try to explain them later. But I had to make a couple modifications to it in order to work like I wanted it to as a boost controller. But they were all very simple modifications, and they seem to be working fairly well. The reason I wanted to go with a boost controller like this is most boost controllers just make the wastegate think that it's at a 10 psi lower pressure than what it really is. So we may have 30 psi in our boost tubes and going into the engine, but it'll think we only have 20. So it'll open 10 psi later. What I wanted it to do is I wanted the boost controller to keep the wastegate closed until, let's just say I want wastegate at 30 psi. I want it to keep the wastegate closed with no pressure in it until I hit 30 psi, and then open it up as much as necessary to maintain 30 psi. What they normally do, because wastegate actually there's a bit of a creep to them, so they may wastegate at 30, but they really start to open about 10. So, not 10, 20 or whatever it is. And then that's creep, and then it'll just slowly open, so that 35 psi will open even more. And so then what you get boost creep, and it's just not so great. The stock one here, it starts in stock configuration. It wastegated my truck about 22 psi, and it started to open at about 10 psi. I wasn't a big fan of that, so hence I figured this out here. Alright, so here we go. Here's I don't have a pressure gauge right here. What I got right now is I got this wastegate line going straight to the air compressor. And I'll just read off the pressure to you so you can see what it does. Okay? I'll hit. Here we go. Low pressure. We got about 10 psi there. 15 psi. 20, 25, 30, 35. And so you can see that it opens relatively slowly. So if you have it set for 10, then by the time it hits 22, if it starts to open at 10 psi, then by the time it hits 22, it's already a bit open. And so that's not really what we want. So here, I'm going to hook it up a little differently. I'm going to go through our boost controller, and we're going to see that. Okay guys, well, here we are again. I got the wastegate hooked up through the boost controller. You can see the blue line here goes to the bottom, and we got this black line, which is barely on. Just probably tighten that up a little, put that on a little better. As long as it doesn't leak, I'll put it on more permanent. Obviously, when I have the turbo in place, and it goes to the air compressor like so. Here we have this gauge shows, well, you can't really see it, I'll reset the camera, but it shows the pressure in our intake tubes, or what would otherwise be in our intake tubes, or in this case is coming out of the air compressor. This is not what the wastegate sees. Okay, so let me reset the camera and so you can see a thing, and we'll go back to it. Okay, here we are. I moved the wastegate so we could see the travel better than how it was at, so we can, and then now we can see the gauge worth of crap. That's good. So here we are. We got it. Let me go back all the way down to 0, so you can see there's no movement there. So we're down to 0. We're going to pressurize it up. Right now, I got the wastegate to open around 30 psi. Here we go. 20, 24, 28. 30. Now you see we're practically fully open. We go here, got a little bit more there, but that's practically fully open. We're going to adjust down slowly and see what the wastegate does. There you have it. So what that does is it gives us a very tight. So right now there's absolutely no pressure in the wastegate. So drive pressure can't push it open very easily, and it doesn't open at high RPM, there's no boost creep. So this is trying very hard to keep it right at 30 pounds. You see, the bottom line is all the way in, top line is all the way out. Just like that.